I don't even know what I can't even pronounce
Apartheid.
Apart from that, we play for the fun of it.
Not up for it? Now it's time for some drinks. What's your name?
My name is Abby Hoffman. American Express wouldn't trust me 10 minutes with a card. I'm doing these debates to attack the mythology that all those who were politically active and idealistic once inevitably became disillusioned, cynical, and then self-centered, insulated from the social problems around us, isolated by the personal drive for money and power. In the 1960s, we organized people against very powerful institutions. Legal segregation was brought to its knees. The first, the only student movement in American society, won collective and individual rights that students today take for granted. We fought and defeated an illegal and immoral war from the streets and from the armed services and from the campuses of America. We fought every institution in the land. We were not sensible one bit. We were romantic, we were foolish, we were headstrong, we were disrespectful, and by golly, we were right. And America has become a much more tolerant, freer, more democratic society because of the risks we took. Risks with our careers, with our education, with our futures, with our ties to our families and our community, and some people with their lives. Now, I teach people how to do democracy. For me, democracy is not just an abstract belief that you believe in or a place you live in. It's not a spectator sport. It's something you participate in.
Political? No. We don't even read the paper. Are you kidding?
We don't even know who's the president.
We're not political. None of us are registered. We're just doing this because it's fun.
Yeah, we like it.
I mean, what is politics really have to do with it?
Don't you think there's some type of obligation? I mean,
no, I don't know. Anyone
internalize the idea you can't buck the system, you can't rock the boat, you can't change things, then you in fact live in a police state.
I won't even say racism today. I would say more racism of the 70s tend to be more subtle because racism of the 80s is going to be more blatant. Okay, as in the move to repeal the civil rights and the equal rights kind of advancement, racism is going to be allowed to flourish like it was in the 50s.
Well, it's really hard to say what's going to happen in the future, but just from my observations of not only kids that I've been teaching and also people who I know just from living in New York City, it seems like the lack of interest in politics amongst the youngest people that I know is pretty disturbing in a certain way. And
well, I don't think that rock and roll and politics have too much in common. And I find it extremely boring to hear people preach about the politics.
feeling's not there. Feeling's not there. Most of the kids I see around town, in the city, or even out by the area on the island, they really don't know what the 60s were really about.
What is it the musicians have that they can communicate so well to the kids?
Music. I mean, they've always had music. There's always music has always been a major form of communication. Only now the lyric and the type of music is a little bit more involved in society than it was.
Blacklight Chameleons.
Together.
Blacklight Chameleons.
Noreen Lewis.
I'm Dino Sorbello. I'm $1 Million Bill Ebauer.
I'm Andrea Matthews, also known by my friends as Gunka the Cave Woman.
It's definitely more than 60s music. We've distilled the most underground, most wiry elements and added it with dance rhythms and pop. And we're working on several new genres.
Yeah. It's sort of an update. It's like trying to freshen up the old sounds that really turn us on, but we want to make it new for now and in the future and kind of keep it going.
A lot has happened since the 60s, so we include that. It's got to be an influence, so the music that's happened since.
We have a wealth of stuff behind us, all kinds of genres of music, and I think we try to combine a little bit of everything in our set, you know. A typical set, there's no two songs that are really alike.
Just want to keep it original.
Playing music. I think I was meant to play music. I've been playing drums for about 10 years and guitar just about as long. And psychedelic music is always what I like best. I was a real big Beatles fan, and from there I started listening to a lot of the more obscure bands. And I think it's just the best form of rock and roll there is, because it's very basic, yet it's creative. Like, you can take it off into, you know, psychedelic directions, yet it's real roots rock and roll.
What I'm talking about is balance. Politics is how you live your life, how you strike that balance between your personal, individual needs and the needs of the community at large.
In a different way. Now, for instance, if we have political conviction, or if we feel we have a responsibility, that's true, yeah, we feel that. But do we want to use our music to express that? Do we want to vent out that aspect of our person in music?
Why not? A lot of other things.
Because I don't want to, because to me that's a drag, that's a bore. What I would do, though, is that if I made a lot of money in this business,
I'd expose
by
my
singing about women, or singing about fast cars, or singing about beer.
On a Friday night.
Maybe I would take my money quietly and I might put it to a worthy cause.
I'll put it to a worthy cause right now.
I think that while they don't think that it matters whether or not they're concerned with various situations, whether it be Nicaragua, El Salvador, South Africa, or the current local situation, say even in New York City. Of course, all of these things affect us every day, and it's important to realize that while Vietnam was a war that happened a long time ago and we were directly involved in that, we will be directly involved in Nicaragua and El Salvador if Ronald Reagan has anything to say about it, which unfortunately he does with his fascist ideology. So therefore, I think that people should be much more aware.
Jerry says we're not going to war in Central America because the yuppies love peace. We are already at war in Central America. We have 22,000 troops down there. In the last 18 months, we've built 12 military airfields in Fort Honduras. We have military bases in El Salvador. We're using napalm, fragmentation bombs. That CIA assassination manual, huge chunks of it were written for the Phoenix program. In Vietnam, we're throwing billions of war dollars away. The CIA secret wars, mining harbors, sending our ships in, government lies, inventions of scenario. All this is vaguely reminiscent of Vietnam.
To the rhythm and what's in the music, then you'll know what's going on with the culture. I got a split on it.
Cost of freedom buried in the ground. Mother Earth will swallow you, lay your body down. Find the cost of
started. Why the Fuzz Tones started was in the concept of doing music that was totally different than anything else that was out at the moment. As far as the 60s went, it meant freedom to break away from what society said you had to do. So we wanted total freedom to break away from the type of music that the industry said we had to do. We didn't want to do disco, we didn't want to do new wave, we didn't want to do punk. We wanted to do something that we really liked. And what's happening with our music and how it's not getting to the people that we think that it should get to, especially our, a lot of younger audiences, there's control from the music industry. It's totally controlled of what they're going to see on MTV, what they're going to hear on the radio.
The main problem, I think, is the industry does not want the kids to have a form of music that they can call their own, that they can rebel against society with, that they can rebel against their parents with. In the 60s, parents hated rock and roll. If they heard anything like a Fuzz Tones record, they would have banned it from the household.
Orders have been taken, shining eyes, prison no bars, ruins and people, picking the stars, unrattled, untamed, they must be.
The essence of democracy is to organize people to challenge the power structure, because the power structure sits on society like fat on cold chicken soup. So you need dissenters, you need agitators to go in there and stir things up, or the whole thing doesn't work. True education is a subversive act. We need disrespect for authority, not the blind obedience called for by the monarchists on the right or the adulation.
Politics again. Apartheid and Nicaragua aren't really big issues for me because I don't feel I can do anything about them. I personally feel that I just can't do anything.
Shut up. Let me finish, all right?
Quite exploitive.
No, just wait a second, David. I'm not done yet here, and this is really serious. I'm tired, you know, this form of music that we're involved in is getting a lot of hubbub because everything's right. You got to be middle class and you're white and you got no cares in the world.
That's right.
Well, fine and dandy. You go ahead, think that. Let the large majority of people think it.
What's the truth?
The truth is that why does music have to be a medium for politics? Why? Who said it had to be?
Nobody says that it has to be, but a lot of people see you as very powerful.
Can't they read between the lines? Can't they read between the lines?
Read into anything, whatever they want to read into.
Can't they wait till do they have to hear something on stage to think that that's for real and that's some conviction? What about off stage? You know, what about stopping someone in the street and going like, hey man, what do you think about this? Why wait till they're on stage playing music to ask them for their thoughts and their views? I don't see the point in that.
What about Live Aid? What about that's political? That's they see an injustice happening in.
Yeah, let me ask you this: how about aid for the Vipers right now? I mean, we're trying to get a small group off the ground. We're trying to get out to the world and play our music for people. Nobody's doing benefits for us right now, and we're an organization. I mean,
in the 60s, all the kids got together, and they had the power to take over, and therefore they changed everything. They changed television, they changed clothing. Everything was directed towards kids, and I don't think that you're going to have a youth movement like that anymore, because there's too much separation.
Maybe in the 60s, style, fashion, and politics, while we think they were very united, I mean, that one reflected the other. I mean, certainly the music, you know, Rolling Stones music, Street Fighting Man, for example, really reflected something very endemic to the politics of the time. And what people wore were also a statement of who they were, so that when you walked down the street, the way people were dressed was an immediate way in which you could relate to somebody else. I guess today that's not so true. It seems like style has taken over in a certain way, but yet one thing is that we can't go back to the style of the past. I mean, things progress.
Ago, the women's only place was the home, and as a housewife. Today, 2/3 of all women in their 30s and 40s women work.
I think having women in a band can be exploited. Girls can be exploited through the industry. I mean, you know, sex sells. But also, for the fuzz tones, there could be no more than just one woman in the band. I mean,
one's really too much. Well, actually, with us, I never really intended on having a girl in the band, and I'd never do it again. I never looked at Deb as a girl. You know, she's a really hot organ player, and we needed a hot organ player, and she can blow away just about any guy I've ever heard. So that's why she's in the band. It has nothing to do with her legs or other extremities.
I think it's a statement because we're singing songs that are really raunchy that not too many women have ever tried to do, and the songs that were the material, it was definitely, I mean, you know, in the 60s was not sung by women.
dress like this, I mean, is this your regalia for a Grateful Dead concert?
You got it. You got it. I don't walk around like this all the time.
You know? No. What about in the 60s?
In the 60s?
Was this your standard?
No. In the 60s, it was the collarless jacket and
the Nehru jacket?
The Nehru jackets and so on, and turtlenecks and jeans and beagle boots and so on.
Is it like...
Why am I dressed like this? Because I love Dayglow green monster fur. This is the type of clothes I like to wear, and nowadays I can wear them, you know, and not get funny looks, really.
Well, is my, well, she's not my idol, but I think she really looks great, and...
I think you should get a vampire outfit.
I always dress like this.
If you're performing, it looks good, you know. It's better than just like wearing a flannel shirt and a pair of jeans like everybody else.
All the time?
Yeah, all the time.
She finds her clothes in the street.
I buy my clothes in the street. No, I don't go shopping at Macy's.
You know, big smart top and the tight pants. Just read Elle magazine. You can see they've got a great pair of pants in there. They said the bowl cut is coming back, and it's on square.
All our boyfriends have been wearing bowls for years now.
The 60s was a cool time because people looked good and they went to looking good, and I think after the 70s or the 80s and punk or disco kind of plastic.
It's people of my generation that are there. It's your generation that I wonder about. It's your generation that's turned its back on social issues. Campus life today is about as exciting as hospital food or TV bowling. Great, tremendous hotbeds of social rest. I barely trust it.
So much trouble everywhere, at home and abroad in other countries, that if we see that the people who did fight in the 60s, the activists, that they got some stuff done, but they couldn't get nearly enough done. And now there's so much more. It'd be a futile attempt.
I'm not going to South Africa ever. And I care, but right now I go through moods of not caring, and right now I don't really care. And I hate the topic of it because everyone keeps talking about it. My cigarette's running down. You'll have to get me another cigarette if I have to ask that question. I really don't care what's going on in Nicaragua and my money, just the same way I don't care what Hofstra is doing to my money. If I pay it, I pay it, and it's the same way. I don't really care if my money's going to Nicaragua, just the same as I don't care if Hofstra is spending all my money on useless art.